Most practices that do your kind of volume, and can I say the kind of volumes that you do?
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're sitting down.
Now wait for this, it's a shocker.
Hey there, and welcome to the very first episode of The Marketing Doctor, powered by Denali Creative. I'm your host, Paul Stubenbordt, founder and CEO of Denali, and I'm genuinely excited to finally launch this channel. Before we jump in, here's a little bit about my background and why I'm so passionate about this space. I started in refractive surgery back in 2001 in business development. And when I say business development, I really mean answering the phones. Yes, out of college, I started answering telephones in a LASIK practice. Now, what I really got to know is I learned how patients actually think, how they ask questions and make decisions, and it gave me a really good foundation for sales. From there, I actually became a surgical counselor for that very same practice, which performed over 1,000 eyes a month, which was an incredible education in patient communication, conversion, and really marketing systems. After that, I moved to Indiana and moved into the role of marketing director for Indiana University's IU School of Medicine, or IUI, where I actually got to see the academic and clinical side of eye care really at a completely different level. I learned a lot about eyes working for that university. Eventually, I started Stubenbordt Consulting, and over time that evolved into what is now known as Denali Creative. We're one of the leaders in elective medical marketing, sales training, and business development. Basically, if you want to grow, practices would call us. Today, we work with elective medical practices of all kinds of shapes and sizes, especially in ophthalmology, dentistry, and plastic surgery. On this channel, we're going to talk about what's really working in medical marketing right now and what's not working anymore. We'll do our best to post weekly. So if you find this helpful, or this channel helpful, I'd love for you to like this video and get subscribed. My kids' future and maybe even your practice might depend on it. I'm just kidding. Well, sort of. What we'll be covering are AI tools that are changing the game of marketing, because AI isn't the future, it really is the now. How to win with Google Ads, especially since AI has taken over. Search engine optimization, or SEO, that drives real patients, not just rankings. And optometric outreach, or ODs, that are going to be sending you referrals throughout the years, especially since, a good majority of surgical patients are going to be referred from optometrists. It's really important for practices that truly want to grow to that really next level to build relationships with them. So we're going to talk about how to hire an optometric outreach coordinator, how to train them, what CEs you should provide, laws governing those CEs, what you can do and not do, and so forth in future videos. We're going to talk about surgical coordinator training, or sales skills. Once you get a patient through the door and you need to upgrade them to, it could be for refractive surgery, it could be cataract surgery with a lens upgrade, or if you work in dentistry, it could be upgrading them to full crowns versus veneers. We're going to talk about phone training. This is the first impression your practice has, and it's important that your staff is not only trained, but they know how to communicate and build relationships with your patients over the phone, so you have a much less no-show rate and a higher customer trust rate. We're going to talk about brand development, conversion-focused web development. So not just building a website, but how do you actually get that web traffic to convert into patients? Expert interviews. This is probably the one I'm excited about the most, is we're going to have expert interviews come into Denali Creative, or we're going to go to them and we're going to interview them on what their practice does to be really successful. And we're also going to interview industry leaders and a whole lot more. Before I kick off, I sat down with Elizabeth Wagner from Insight Eye Center, home of Dr. Michael Rahm. It's a really impressive practice in Mentor, Ohio, doing nearly 100 cataract surgeries a month with only 4 employees. And that's not a typo. This is real. It's probably the most efficient practice I've ever seen in my life. It has an incredibly high referral rate, and they literally do zero marketing. So I can't take any of the credit. It comes from the practice within. Now, Elizabeth, who is the practice administrator / surgical director, she's going to share some really valuable insight into what makes their system so efficient and how they stay really focused on the patient while operating at a really high level. Remember, they have a lot of patient referrals, a lot of doctor referrals, and she's going to share some of those tips from their practice that you might benefit from. Now, a full quick disclosure. Yes, I did get a haircut before filming. It did make me look almost bald, or like I'm wearing some sort of toupee. And yes, the camera angle did me absolutely no favors. It's the first time we actually filmed like that, where we used one camera for 2 different angles. So we're a little off on that. But if you can look past my bad haircut, I think you're gonna find this interview genuinely helpful. And a big thank you again to Elizabeth. She was incredible on camera and very generous with what she shared. All right, so that's enough of that. Let's jump into her interview. Thanks again for watching.
Hi, I'm Paul Stubenbordt with Denali Creative, and this is The Marketing Doctor. We're here with Elizabeth Wagner from Insight Eye Center in Cleveland, Ohio, actually Minner, Ohio.
Yes, thank you.
And so today we're going to talk a little bit about her practice, how she got started in ophthalmology, the challenges she faces at her practice. So welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now, how did you get into ophthalmology?
Well, how much time do you have? No, I'm just kidding. It's actually very interesting. I started my career in the education world. I was a teacher and then director of a private school for a few years, and kind of midlife made the transition into the medical field. Introduced to an ophthalmologist in the Cleveland area. And really the rest is history. It's been the best decision that I've ever made. I just have fallen in love with this field, and every day is a joy.
All right, so you've been in ophthalmology for now, like, what, about a decade?
10 years, yes.
Okay, 10 years, wow. Now, you started at Insight Eye Center in a different position than you are now. Let's talk a little about the role you started in.
Sure. So when I started, it was more so geared towards marketing and patient relations, kind of counseling and things of that nature. Over the years, it transitioned into more of a management position. Some like to say practice manager. We've come up with the term surgical director because my surgeon and I work very closely together with managing patients and the surgical care that they receive at our practice.
Awesome. Now, your practice is pretty special because I would consider you definitely a higher volume cataract practice.
Yes.
But as I've talked about for a decade, y'all have very few employees.
Correct.
Most practices that do your kind of volume, and can I say the kind of volumes that you do?
Absolutely.
So typically, this practice would do somewhere between, could be 60 to 90 cataracts in a month. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
And how many employees do you have?
Well, I'm glad you're sitting down.
Now wait for this. It's a shocker.
We have a total of 4 employees.
4 employees.
Yes.
And tell me what each person does with the practice.
So I have 1 employee that is an administrative assistant. She runs the front desk and all things administrative. And then 2 technicians, one of which has been with the practice over 25 years. So she is kind of just a wealth of knowledge in all the different areas. And then another technician that also assists in the OR with our surgeon. And
then there's you.
And then there's me.
Awesome. Now, your practice is also pretty special because you do almost no marketing except for search engine optimization. You used to do some CE events, but most of all, it's just word of mouth or from doctor referrals or optometrists referring to you, correct?
Correct, yes.
And how is that? How is that possible?
So I really attribute that to my surgeon and just the reputation that he's built for himself. He's a phenomenal surgeon, but also just a very, very good human being. And we've built over the years such a foundation relationship with optometrists in the area that they just entrust their patients with my surgeon. So there's really no other option in the area for optometrists to send to in their mind.
Awesome. Now, she's talking about Dr. Michael Rahm. I've worked with Dr. Rahm for about 14 or 15 years,
Yes.
a long time. And hopefully he'll allow this video to go on air. Otherwise, you won't see this bit. But Dr. Rahm is just one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He spends a lot of time with the patient, not too much, but he definitely listens to all of their concerns and what their goals with their vision are. And what else makes him special?
I think what makes him special and how we kind of run our practice is the fact that we educate our patients. We're not a salesy type of practice, both Dr. Ram and my goal is to really form the relationship with the patient so that they feel that they're just visiting a friend or a family member, and that they're getting the education that they need so that they can then make the best decision for themselves in terms of outcome with surgery.
Now, your practice is primarily a cataract practice, but you see other forms of ophthalmic patients. What would those be?
So generally speaking, majority is cataracts, as you said, annual eye exams, some glaucoma, and that's pretty much it. He's, at the point in his career where he's just, getting to enjoy the thing that he wants to do the most, which is refractive surgery.
Awesome. Now, your practice also does a fair amount of premium lenses, well above the national average.
Thank you.
What's special about you? And because I know you play a key role in that. So tell me about, from the beginning till the end, what's the patient experience like?
So again, the patient experience at our practice is we just want them to feel at home. And for me personally, my goal is from the moment that I meet the patient is just to make them feel at ease. Like I'm talking to, my mother or my sister or my friend. And, they come in my office and it's a cozy atmosphere. And again, it's just me educating them on what the doctor's recommending, the differences between all the different options that the doctor's provided, informing them of their insurance and the cost, which in today's climate can be a tricky conversation to have. But again, it's just letting the patient know I'm here solely to educate you. This is no pressure. Whatever decision you make, you're going to see better because your cataracts are gone. It's the choice that you want of your outcome. It's
so true. It's, I started my career in a primarily a very large LASIK practice, and we were very sales focused. And in fact, to the point where we got bonuses that were, half of our salary for this. And so I had a situation where a patient came in. I was still a salesperson from the first practice. And this patient was like -9. She had 4 little kids that were probably under the age of 10.
Wow.
And unfortunately, she wasn't a good candidate for LASIK because of her prescription.
Sure.
So we went over the price of ICL surgery. This is well before EVO came out. And it was, of course, twice as much as LASIK. And her husband immediately said, "We can't afford that. We're not getting that."
Oh,
I know.
Gosh.
So
how did you manage that?
So what I did is I went and got a trial frame with her prescription in it.
Genius.
And I put it on him. And I said,
"Genius.
I want you to see how your wife sees every waking moment." And he's like, "Well, I can't see a gosh darn thing." And it's like,
there you
that's
go.
right. And this is the best gift you can give your wife. And it's a gift she's going to open for the rest of her life. Now, I was still a salesman at that point, right? Using all the sales tactics. But it wasn't until the next week when she came back, she was seeing 20/20. And who did she go hug? The surgeon? No.
You.
She hugged me.
Yes.
And it changed my life forever. That's when I felt, and I've told, all the people that work for me or with me that, hey, we might not be doing the surgery, but we're also changing lives by getting the patients to the right surgeons. Now, I know in your practice, you've done a lot of those things. I've watched you, especially with some women, saying, you deserve to give yourself this gift.
Thank you.
You don't need somebody's permission.
Absolutely. The best investment is in yourself.
And I
think you actually gave me that tagline at some point in time, but I use it all the time. I
stole it from somebody else.
Okay, so it's just going down the line.
We're helping people change lives by stealing ideas. Yes.
Absolutely.
So right now it's very tough economic time, even for seniors that have saved. LASIK volume is really in the pits. It's probably down 60 or 70% over 2021 numbers. But even in our practices that we're doing 60% premium lenses. Some of them are doing 35% now. Some of them are doing 40%, which is still incredible. But what do you do when the patient comes in? They really want to have a premium lens. They really want to be able to reduce or eliminate their dependence on glasses or contacts or really reading glasses or distance vision glasses. What do you do when they say, I just can't afford that right now?
So that's a really good question. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, my goal when meeting with patients is to educate, right? And make that relationship feel as though, I'm just talking to a friend or family member. But in an instance such as this is when the sales, techniques kind of kick in. And what I have found is helpful is that's when I really sit down with the patient and discuss, okay, well, how much do you pay each year for your glasses? How much do you then pay for your sunglasses? What happens if you break your glasses? How much is that going to cost? So when we then start crunching those numbers and they sit and they're like, okay, so I'm going to pay only one time X dollars versus over the rest of my life, much, much more. So in instances like that, that is such a helpful tool that it, not to sound, conceited, but almost works every time.
That's true. Dr. John Hovannessian once told me, it's the only thing somebody's going to use every waking moment for the rest of their lives.
Correct.
And it was really impactful for me.
No, I mean, I just think for anyone that is, interested in the medical field, the ophthalmology world is just ever changing and evolving. And it's just such an amazing place to be.
Yes, it is. And we always tell people that are just getting into ophthalmology, look, it might be a starting point, but if you really focus on it, you grow, it's going to be a career. And not only is it going to be a career in the place you start, you will have people seek you out for employment. They'll try to steal you. I know some practices have tried to poach you over the years, but you've stayed committed.
I stay committed. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And also, while I have you here, I want to thank you for all of your guidance, over the years with not only myself, but also our practice. So, I mean, everything that your company does has been very helpful. Yeah,
it's our pleasure. We love helping practices, and, we've all started in places. I started on the phones. You started at a higher position than I did. And in many ways, you've surpassed me. So, all right, Elizabeth.
Did we get that in writing?
Well, thank you for coming on.
Of course.
And good luck with your practice.
Thank you.
I'll see you at Ascris.
We'll see you at Ascris.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.